Hi, welcome to Colby's Corner. I'm your host, Colby Christina. Colby's Corner is your premier destination for teens who want a safe place to learn and talk about what's really happening in their lives, academically, socially, and culturally. Today's discussion is on teens' political views on the presidential candidates Secretary Hillary Clinton and Mr. Donald Trump. Today's guests are a group of teens from across Long Island. First, we have Mr. Andrew Colby. Andrew is a 16-year-old junior. He attends the Hempstead High School. Andrew is also a student at the Long Island School for the Arts in Syosset, New York, where he is a theater student. Andrew is a junior interviewer with Dream Teen magazine, a Kids Day staff artist, and staff journalist with Newsday. Andrew is an artist specializing in cartooning. He has hosted 4 art shows. He currently sings in his school's select chorus and is learning how to play the saxophone, piano, and he loves to dance. Andrew is in the drama club in his school. In his short 16 years, he has been very productive and successful, making contributions in community services, winning many contests and awards. He is currently weighing his career options. Next, we have Mr. Jason Williams. Jason is a senior at the Hempstead High School. His future aspirations are to attend UAlbany or SUNY Old Westbury. He would like to major in psychology and ultimately receive his doctorate in clinical psychology. Currently, Jason is on his school's wrestling team, student government, and the law club. He has a passion for writing spoken word. He also works at Chipotle and volunteers as a mock trial lawyer. And then we have Kyleek Wallace. He was born and raised in Hempstead, New York. He attends Hempstead High School as well, where he plans on going to Cooper Union in Albany or the Academy Arts University in San Francisco. This is where he wants to major in architecture. His future aspirations are to start his very own architectural firm. Kyleek loves to participate in student government and plans to run for future Senate. Without further ado, Andrew, Jason, and Kyleek. How are you guys doing today?
I'm doing all right.
Good?
Great.
Good. Okay, so all of you seem interested in student government or some type of way to help the community in any way possible. Why is that? Starting with, I guess, Kyleek.
Um, I've always been interested in student government since kind of like the 4th grade for me. So it was just it was very interesting because I like to argue and I like to prove a point. So I like how the whole thing of government is based on like 2 political parties going back and forth with each other. It's a good way to express like it helps like in a way basically. Like I just like it. I don't know. I have a passion for it. So
That's great. Jason?
One quote that I believe in is, be the change that you want to see in the world. And one major flaw as far as American society goes is our government. And I want to be that change in the government that I want to see in the future.
Great. Andrew?
Well, I would say for myself that law is a really good thing for me. I have done a mock trial a few years back. So I like to just interpret and just judge on what doesn't seem right and what seems very close to what seems right.
Great. That's great. Okay, starting with Jason. Why did you choose psychology as your career goal?
Once again, I believe be the change that you want to see in the world. And a lot of today's problems, whether it's race problems or political problems, a lot of them have to do with psychology and how people are brought up. And I believe that with the right help from the beginning stages of life, everyone can achieve a right state of mind.
Kylie?
um,
Why did you choose architecture to be your career goal?
I was born in 1999 when a lot of new things in the world were coming out. So technology was becoming more advanced, and the little things more like arts were becoming more advanced. New houses were being made, and I always wanted to take part in that. And I just kind of felt like I grew a passion for architecture and for designing homes, and it was lovely. Like it captured my heart and everything.
Yeah. Andrew, what made you want to get into the arts?
First off, I first started as just doing art. I love art as a true passion for me. And it first started when my theater teacher, Miss Cucina, was doing a musical play for Annie. And that's when I immediately found out that theater and acting was my true passion. When I was on stage, my mom was thinking to herself that she would never see me acting before and singing like I was on stage. So I am continuing on acting and art as well.
Great, I can relate. Okay, now we're going to get into the presidential debate topics that have been going on recently. So, first, we will talk about crime and justice. Lately, we've seen a lot of cases: Trayvon Martin, Sandra Bland, Freddie Gray, Eric Garner, and the list goes on and on and on. Secretary Clinton said, quote unquote, she will support legislation to ban racial profiling by federal, state, and local law enforcement officials. On the other hand, Mr. Trump said, quote unquote, well, I think there can be profiling. As teens, how do you feel about racial profiling, not only towards African Americans, but to any race? Starting with Jason.
I believe that racial profiling is not okay. It should be banned. I agree with Hillary Clinton. It shouldn't be allowed that a certain race can be profiled and as a means to stop any form of crime activity, because all humans do wrongs.
Yes. Andrew?
I also agree with Hillary Clinton because Trayvon Martin was shot not illegally, but he was shot because it was just of that man's own will, and then it's so on and so forth. But it moved on to blacks being killed by police officers, and that just really bothers me. It aggravates me to see that these blacks has not do anything wrong, but has been accused and killed anyway. So I personally agree with Hillary Clinton on that.
Yes. Kylie?
I definitely agree with Hillary Clinton because it's such a shame that we live in a society where a certain type of race is afraid to walk out their doors. And me being an African American black male, I definitely feel a little threatened of my life, and the fact that I have 4 younger siblings and 3 younger siblings than me, I fear for their lives too. And it's really sad though, especially with not just black people, but how Donald Trump targets Muslims and everything else. There are really good people out there, and we can't just base those bad people off of one race.
Yes, definitely. So take your papers that I gave you, and on 3, you're going to reveal which candidate you agree with on this situation. So 1, 2, 3. Everybody said Hillary Clinton. Okay. So moving forward, still under the criminal justice umbrella, how do you feel about the death penalty? Jason?
Personally, I feel as if the death penalty should not be allowed, as you cannot make life as you can take it as easily. Therefore, people shouldn't be allowed to just kill another human being, because to make life is much harder than to take one, no matter what they did to another person, as well as suffering is way worse than dying.
Yes. Andrew?
I also agree, because death penalty, although it's a thing, for blacks, it shouldn't be a thing because they're being killed by police officers, which makes absolutely no sense. They should just be arrested and have a fair trial, but instead, they've been treated the way that they aren't supposed to be treated. And even if they do have a trial, they already have the death penalty, so I will say that.
Yes. Kylie?
In terms of death penalty, when you mean by electrical chair, I kind of agree with that. But when it comes to death penalty for no exact reasons, like how Andrew said, but Black Lives Matter, I definitely agree with he says fair trial, and it doesn't go for just black people. It goes for all races, and I just agree. That's it.
Have you guys seen this story where this man, he was trialed to life, and come to find out 36 years later, it actually wasn't him.
Right.
So how do you guys feel about those stories that are going around? Because they're actually in school, we were talking about it, there were about 380 cases just like that. So how do you feel about it? Kylie, again?
We're human, we make mistakes, but I think we should definitely be more careful with our mistakes for the people we accuse in life. And we definitely need to take a check on ourselves and stuff before we can accuse anybody and make sure our facts are in order.
Jason?
In relation to the last topic, it makes the death penalty and it makes the fact that it should be outlawed even more valid because that man could have been killed versus just suffered and now he's out. And so he definitely deserves some form of reparation for the years lost in prison.
Andrew?
I would say so too, that the death penalty, no matter how cruel it is, that man could have had a very different punishment, but other than the death penalty. So I would say that he would have a different punishment, or the court would have had would have the same reason to have a death penalty to him.
Okay. So overall, we all feel that the death penalty is not really all that necessary,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
So now moving on to healthcare. The talk about abortion has been going on a lot lately. Mr. Trump said women should be punished in some way, and Secretary Clinton believes women should be able to exercise their full rights. How do you boys feel about this? So I guess Jason.
I agree with Trump as far as abortion goes, because if in order to have a baby and then to say that you don't want it anymore, you're getting rid of life, and some people can't have babies if they tried, so it's sort of ungrateful in a sense to go through the process and yet don't want the baby in the end. So they definitely deserve some sort of reprimanding.
Okay, Andrew.
As I would also agree with Donald Trump, most women should get punished for abortions, but moving on to Hillary Clinton, women should have at least their own decision on whether or not abortion should be acceptable or not.
Okay, Kylie.
I'm all for Hillary because I definitely believe that a woman's body is her own and her choices are hers. And I say that because I know that in my, like, some women have circumstances where they can't take care of the baby themselves or they can't provide for them and the baby, which could lead to other, like, adoptions or any other things. But, you know, a woman's body is her own.
Yeah.
She's free to make her own choices.
Definitely. So definitely use your papers again and pick a candidate that you agree with more. And if you don't agree with either, you can say other, or you can use other to say kind of both. So 1, 2, 3. Other, Donald Trump, Hillary. Yes, so we all have different views.
Right.
Yeah. So now we're going to move on to education. Since we are in high school, you guys are seniors, you're a junior like me. So we are all high school students. Within the past few years, there have been a lot of talks and protests against Common Core. Donald Trump seems to be quite short in his idea of removing Common Core from education, whereas Secretary Clinton is unsure. She feels that it will be a great asset to the education of children all around the world. Knowing your workload, because we are in high school, and, you know, we're getting ready for SATs and ACTs, and you guys are getting ready for college applications. Knowing your workload, how do you feel about Common Core? Did you feel like throughout your 4 years, has it really shown your true potential, Common Core, based on your results? So, Jason?
Throughout my 4 years in high school, I personally have never come in contact with Common Core. I was always 1 year ahead of it.
Okay.
But from what I've heard and from what I've seen of Common Core, it makes learning very different in that it's trying to put the whole country on a level playing field, and that I agree with. But otherwise, I would say that it may be too late for this class, the high school seniors, to catch up.
Yeah. Kylie?
I definitely agree. Not agree, but in a way, I have taken Common Core before, and I have felt the pressure of those who have took it, and the way they feel is unbelievable, and it's not a good feeling, because you feel though as it's like putting more books on top of you, more stuff on top, and it's hard, you know. And I understand that they want to get us all on one level and playing field, but at the same time, Jason's right, where it's kind of too late for us seniors, and they have to start with more younger elementary schoolers more.
Andrew?
To most high school students, yes, the Common Core will seem a little bit hard, like you're at least carrying 20 books on your back. But the Common Core also helps increase your knowledge on your topics, increase your accuracy, and just increase your way of speaking and your way of writing and reading. So I would say that the Common Core should at least stay for a good purpose for high school students. And also, I would say Common Core really would help me in a way I would understand.
Okay, great. So we all feel, some of us feel that it's pressured, some of us feel that it is an asset to our education, our daily life. So using your papers once again, pick a candidate that you feel you agree with more, because we did say Donald Trump believes in removing it and Clinton is believing that it's a great asset, and if you feel like you don't know because of your personal experiences, put other. So 1, 2, 3. Hillary Clinton, other, and other. Okay, thank you. So now we're going to move on to the drinking age. So both Secretary Clinton and Mr. Trump feel the drinking age should remain the way it is, the way it's always been. So how do you guys feel about the drinking age? Do you feel it should be lowered from 21 to a lower age, or stay the way it's been for a while? So Kylie?
I agree with both. I mean, there's no need to lower it. There's no really need to lower it. There's no need to higher it. People are fine the way they are. We should keep it the way it is. So.
Jason?
I say that the drinking age should be lowered. Other countries such as Europe, the countries in and around Europe, they have no drinking age. Growing up, kids get a little bit of liquor in their juice cups or have you or whatever it be, and it just reduces the rate of alcoholism.
Mm-hmm. Andrew?
I would say it would stay the same, because if it would have been lower, then high school students or young or older kids would have an idea of having alcohol, and for some reason they would do drinking and driving. That would put a big increase on accidents of teenagers of lower age.
Yes, definitely. But we already do see some cases where teens are already breaking the law. They're
Right.
not following the drinking age of 21. Some of them are already doing it at 16. So I think it should stay the way it is.
Right, but that's just kids. Like kids
Yeah.
are always gonna find some way to break some type of rule.
Yeah.
And I don't see no reason to lower it. I think it's fine. Possibly, I mean, I could see where Jason's coming from. Like, if we kind of do lower it, there's a possibility that like people won't be so crazy or
Out of hand.
Yeah.
So now let's move on to Black Lives Matter, because we talked about the crime and justice with the different cases. And if you want to get into the different cases and use it, you can. So Donald Trump says he doesn't support Black Lives Matter, and he is only concerned for the well-being of the people that look like him. And whereas Clinton is in support of the message of Black Lives Matter. How do you feel about this? Jason?
As Clinton feels, I agree with the message, not necessarily the name. It can deter people a little bit because it makes them feel like I'm not black, so you don't support me.
Right.
But the total message of Black Lives Matter is that somewhere, some way, shape, or form of another, we're all black, and therefore all of our lives matter. So I definitely believe that Black Lives Matter is doing a great job in supporting all humans.
Okay. Andrew?
I also believe that too, because sometimes it just feels like black people just feel like left out of the community and just society itself. And I also feel like their lives are cut too short of what they do and what they're accused of. So I also believe that Black Lives Matter is doing a great job.
Kylie?
I agree with Andrew, because when he said African Americans and black people have always felt like we're nothing to society, and we felt like we have always been the blame or the scapegoat. And truth is, we built a society, and we kind of helped fertilize it, and we want our fair share. So when it's time for us to step up and claim our prize, there's an obstacle in front of it saying, no, you can't get this. So when it comes to Black Lives Matter, I agree with Jason too when it's saying like in some way, shape or form, we are all black. And, it's doing a great job, representing us.
Okay. So now we can get into some of the cases. The Trayvon Martin case. Does anybody want to talk about that and how they feel about that and how the trial, Zimmerman trial, and different things like that. So, Jason?
As far as Trayvon Martin goes, I definitely believe that there was some sort of funny business going on, whereas the judge may have had to deal with Zimmerman himself, because there's no reason why an adult had to use a weapon on a teenage boy walking home late at night.
Kylie?
I feel robbed, you know? I feel like to see something like that, like a teenage boy, you know, I felt like that wasn't necessary. And I feel like his freedom and everything was stolen from him, and everything was just, it's not fair. It was just, it's rude, because I wouldn't want anything, if I was Zimmerman, I wouldn't want anything happen to my kid, you know? So I definitely feel for his family, and yeah, I just don't like that.
Andrew?
Yeah, it also hurts me that a teenager's life would be cut short by a handheld weapon. And what also bothers me is that the one who did the crime wouldn't have been accused. And it really gives a broken heart to the family of the victim, but it just doesn't seem right to me that the person who did the crime has not been accused of it yet. So that really bothered me a lot.
Would you guys like to speak on like how long they're taking to come up with a decision of guilty or not guilty? Because in the majority of the cases, they're taking a pretty long time, but all the evidence is there. So, Jason?
I feel like as if with the majority of the cases, they know which side they should pick, but the delay is just they don't want to make that decision.
Right.
It's I know what's right, but I don't want to do what's right. And they're contemplating what they should do at this point.
Okay. Kylie?
I agree with Jason, you know, because this is like, it's like Emmett Till all over again, you know, you can't just let these people get away with something like that, and they know it's wrong. I agree with Jason all the way.
Andrew?
Yeah, I agree with both, because it feels like they're keeping a secret from us. Like, they want to say it, but they just want to just put it on the back burner and just keep it a secret, and that just doesn't seem right to me.
Understood. So now we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back with more cases on Black Lives Matter.
Welcome to Formula Auto Wash, where every day is a great day for a car wash. Open 7 days a week from 8 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Sundays 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Detailing packages for every budget, starting out at $29.99. 100% hand wash and detail centre. Horsehair and microfiber brushes and mitts. Proudly used in Ecolab Blue Coral soaps and waxes. Formula Auto Wash has served the community for over 30 years. Senior discounts all day, every day. Ladies' Day Wednesday, $3 off any wash. Early bird discount Monday through Thursday till 9:30 a.m. Check out our website, formulaautowash.com.
For professional motorcycle transport and towing, think Kickstart Fabrications Motorcycle Towing. Proudly serving all of Long Island, we feature expert handling and 24/7 service. So send a limo for your toy with Kickstart Fabrications Motorcycle Towing.
Galaxy Luxury Coach is a full-service limousine and party bus company. Family-owned and operated, we are an industry leader with over 25 years of experience in providing best-in-class luxury transportation for your special event. Whether it's your precious wedding day, an all-day wine tour out east, your high school prom, that special birthday, or just an amazing night on the town, our professional chauffeurs stand ready to ensure your special event is truly special. Galaxy Luxury Coach has one of the largest and modern party bus fleets in the New York area. Our party buses are simply nightclubs on wheels. Concert sound systems, light shows, lasers and strobes, multicolor LED lighting brilliantly lights your party bus inside and out. For corporate and more laid-back events, we will cater to your specific needs and requests. What sets Galaxy aside from all others in the luxury transportation industry is our attention to detail in customizing our services to your special event. At Galaxy, it's all about you and your guests. Galaxy customers return time and time again because they know they can trust Galaxy to help deliver those lifetime memorable moments. Step aboard and let your Galaxy experience begin. Galaxy.
Okay, we're back, and we're going to continue our conversation on Black Lives Matter and the views of Trump and Clinton on these Black Lives Matter cases. So now we can talk about Eric Garner. So does anybody want to start? Andrew?
First off, I would say that, well, first, I can't. Alright, so first I would say that police choking a unarmed black man seems just unright to me. And what really bothers me is that he was actually crying, "I can't breathe." Like, it just would break anyone's heart, at least mostly blacks, but anyone who would actually watch and listen, it would really have an impact on their feelings. And it just doesn't seem a place to be where it should be.
Kylie?
No, it's ridiculous because in society nowadays, we're living in a world where citizens are trained to stay calm and cops are trained to panic. And that's exactly what the cop did, because if you look at it, I first have to say excessive force is never okay. You know, I don't care how big you are, how, you know, tall or how dark or how light, that's never like the reason to choke some guy out or whatever. And it's ridiculous, really. So, you know, especially to a guy who's saying "I can't breathe" or he's really choking, you still have your hand around his neck or whatever. That's ridiculous.
Jason?
As far as Eric Garner goes, I can tell you that the cop was definitely panicking, and it was not necessarily his fault that he panicked, rather than the people who trained him.
Right.
Cops are supposed to be trained to stay calm in emergency situations.
Absolutely.
They're supposed to be the directors of how to stay calm and where to go. So, and the fact that they kept on choking him using an illegal chokehold, which should never be used, just adds to the fact that it was not okay.
Okay. So now we'll get back into the education aspect, but more about the apparel of it. So in some schools, they are required to wear uniform. For example, my school, I go to a Catholic independent private school, so we have to wear uniform every day. Some say this will decrease crime and ensure child safety. Others say that it is a violation of freedom of expression. For example, I believe there was this one time about a year or two ago, a girl came to school with an afro, and they didn't allow her into school because they feel like, no, you can't do that. So what do you guys feel about the way you come to school and the school uniform? So Jason?
I definitely disagree with school uniforms. I feel like as if the uniform itself prepares you to follow the rest of your life as a follower. It trains you that you should not be the boss, instead be the man working for the boss. Because no man, no high-ranking person in this world has a uniform that they have to wear. It's only the lower-ranking people who follow the higher-ranking men.
Kylie?
That is great. But I'm both with it because, you know, kids nowadays are harsh. And, you know we could be a little cruel and we can be a little funny and we could go a little too far nowadays. So with the uniform thing, I kind of agree because it represents unity, that we are one and that we can do this together. But at the same time, you know, freedom of expression is great because every kid has, like Andrew, he's an artist. I'm pretty sure he does it, like, maybe not, or he probably does, but maybe he likes to switch it up a couple of, you know, days, or maybe like red, green, or blue. And I'm all for it, but, you know, I'm very both with it, so.
Andrew?
I am also both with it. First, that if they were able to not follow the school uniform, they would have to. They would be going with the criminal way attire, and at the same time, with if they do follow the school uniforms, that it would be more affirmative to the school and hopefully to the students. But if they don't, then that's their way of expression, how they express their self and the way they are and how they feel.
Yes, Jason.
Uh, so on uniforms, I believe that they should get rid of them. They're oppressing students as far as the creativity. I believe that it's like holding down an eruption. If you don't let children express themselves, then when they can, they're just gonna go wild with it. They're gonna go over the border with it, and it's just gonna get out of hand.
Do you feel that if the uniforms are taken away, do you feel the kids will be more out of hand and it will affect their performance in school? But if they do have uniforms, they're more together and like not all over the place. Do you feel like that's an option too?
I look at it as like this, like, it's a new generation. We're new kids. There's always going to be something new. From back in the days where women would wear skirts as low as their ankle to now where we wear skirts as low as your knees. And in 15 years from now, they're going to be skirts lower than that. Or for boys, like they're going to be ripped something, you know? So I always look at it like it might seem inappropriate. And yes, it can get out of hand sometimes, definitely. But, you know, we're kids, you know? Like, we just express yourselves, and that's just how people are. So I look at it as like, if 15 years from now, I'm going to be yelling at my daughter like, girl, if you don't go change your clothes, you know? So I don't really get too crazy about what my sister puts on, you know?
Okay. Andrew?
I would have to agree that if the school uniforms were taken away, that, well, it's their way of expression, but it's their decision of what they want to wear. I mean, if they want to wear this instead of following that, then that's their choice. But their choice comes with great consequences. So if they start wearing that, they may start doing something like robbing a store or something that has to do with a handheld weapon. So it's their decision, their freedom of choice.
Jason?
I feel like as if there were no uniforms, as there weren't, let's say 2 years ago at our school, the students would dress regularly, how they do on the weekends, wherever they go, and that's reflective of who they are, their character. And you don't want to change a child, you want to influence them so that they can change themselves. So I feel like as if uniforms should not be mandatory, instead be rather suggested, strongly suggested.
Okay. So now moving on to standardized testing. From your experiences, the two seniors, how did you feel about the SAT and the ACT? Was it challenging? Could they like fall back a little bit? How did you two feel about that? Jason?
I feel like the SAT was a good test. It wasn't that difficult. It more so took on, for the math at least, it took on the form of older maths, such as ninth grade, let's say algebra and geometry, math that I've taken years ago. And for the reading, it wasn't necessarily hard, but it was different. The English in general was just different.
Kylie?
I definitely think that the SAT is a good thing because when you take it and you get your scores back, it's definitely a reflection on how you did and what you were able to do. And that could be a good or bad thing. And, you know, it's a little pressure, but, you know, everything's a little pressure in a teenage mind. Like, as, you know, high school tests and all those things, it's a lot for a teen, but, you know, it's I believe that it's working.
Andrew, how do you feel about standardized testing?
I feel that it has their way of building up knowledge. When I took my two tests, first off, I thought it was a very difficult thing to do. So my mom was prepping me over and over again. And then when I started to take the test, she would usually tell me, all right, you studied well enough. Now you need to go in there and give it everything. So I feel that it builds up your knowledge and increases accuracy.
Okay. So compared to the old SAT and they came out with new SATs. So did you guys were you guys able to see the difference between the two, or were you guys still with the old SAT and ACT?
We took the new SAT, or at least I did. We were able to take the old SAT, but information didn't get out. We were in prep classes, so we took the newer one.
So did you see a difference, a big difference, or was it kind of similar? Did you favor one more than the other?
With the prep classes, they prepped us on the new SAT.
Right.
They didn't prep us on the old
Old
one, so we
one?
never got to see the old
The
one.
Okay, makes sense. So now tablets versus textbooks. So in your schools, do you guys use textbooks?
Yeah.
You have to
we
carry
use-
them every day, or
No.
no? Okay.
Well, it depends. You know.
It depends.
Classes.
Classes. So my school, they let us leave our textbooks at home.
Yeah.
And then we use it like that. But if you had to pick one, tablets or textbooks?
I say tablets because, like I said, new generation, new kids. Not everybody's going to go stick. Not every tradition is going to stay the same.
Yeah.
So we have new technology out, and I figured let's put it to good use. Like kids are always. I'm always on my cell phone
Yeah.
doing something. And kids in my school are always on their cell phone. Let's get. They want to be on it. I see no problem with it. So tablets all in.
Jason?
Personally, I say textbooks,
Textbooks.
only because to have a tablet and then run around with it, it's a lot of responsibility just to casually have it, because things happen on an everyday basis.
Yeah.
Kids get book bags taken. I'd rather a link to the book, if anything, just a link.
Andrew?
I also say textbooks because if they had tablets, they would start to daydream and start going off
Yeah.
somewhere else. And also we have libraries, so it kind of gives them a whole row of books to choose from, and it gives more information. Don't get me wrong, internet also gives information, but it just seems it's the new generation, like Kylie said, but it probably would kind of get them off track and off something else other than their actual work.
Right. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Like with the whole daydreaming thing, I kind of I could see where he's going from that,
Yeah.
because sometimes even I get a
You
little
go,
off
that's
topic.
fine.
Like everybody has that problem, but there are restrictions. Like I'm pretty sure, like even my school, there's a block on certain websites, and I believe that we could do that with the tablet. Like why not? Like let's only make these for learning exercises, or just find a certain. We have to. I believe that with tablets, we just have to find the right motive to keep kids attached to the task that they need to do. That's all.
I know in my school they let us use our cell phones, but only for academic purposes. But there are no blocks on certain websites, so like certain times you'll see a kid on Instagram or on
Right.
Facebook, and then they'll get their phone taken away.
But that's every day.
Yeah.
So, it's kids are
every
gonna
day.
always be kids. And,
Yeah. So now let's move on to small businesses. So everyone here wanted to start their own small or large business.
Yes.
Okay, would you like to speak on that?
Yeah, I'll go. I want to be a CEO of my very own architectural firm. My dream is to spread international. So I always wanted to spread my businesses across the United States and across the world. I would love it to be a large business, but nothing starts out large. Everything starts small, and that's why I agree with Secretary Clinton, because she says she supports small businesses. And no one ever gives the little guy a chance. So hopefully with her help that'll be possible for me.
Okay. Jason?
I believe in opening up my own small business, hopefully becoming large, for the main part because I believe in owning my life. And a part of that, I feel like the first step is owning my own business, becoming my own boss, and have people work for me under me. Opening up my own clinic, hopefully becoming larger as a means to own my life.
Andrew?
Yes, I agree with Kylie and Jason. The words of advice I give to kids that you always have to start somewhere. So I will want to start my own business, to be a CEO of my own business, Art by Drew, and I want to increase that by giving it animation. I want to animate my first character. So that's an increase. So I want to start small, then go something a little bit more bigger.
Okay, great. So we're going to take a break right now, and we'll come right back and continue our discussion on small businesses.
Welcome to Formula Auto Wash, where every day is a great day for a car wash. Open 7 days a week from 8 a.m. till 5:30 p.m. Sundays 8 a.m. till 4 p.m. Detailing packages for every budget, starting out at $29.99. 100% hand wash and detail centre. Hog's hair and microfiber brushes and mitts. Proudly using Ecolab Blue Coral soaps and waxes. Formula Auto Wash has served the community for over 30 years. Senior discounts all day, every day. Ladies' Day Wednesday, $3 off any wash. Early bird discount Monday through Thursday till 9:30 a.m. Check out our website, formulaautowash.com.
For professional motorcycle transport and towing, think Kickstart Fabrications Motorcycle Towing. Proudly serving all of Long Island, we feature expert handling and 24/7 service. So send a limo for your toy with Kickstart Fabrications Motorcycle Towing.
Galaxy Luxury Coach is a full-service limousine and party bus company. Family-owned and operated, we are an industry leader with over 25 years of experience in providing best-in-class luxury transportation for your special event. Whether it's your precious wedding day, an all-day wine tour out east, your high school prom, that special birthday, or just an amazing night on the town, our professional chauffeurs stand ready to ensure your special event is truly special. Galaxy Luxury Coach has one of the largest and modern party bus fleets in the New York area. Our party buses are simply nightclubs on wheels. Concert sound systems, light shows, lasers and strobes, multicolor LED lighting brilliantly lights your party bus inside and out. For corporate and more laid-back events, we will cater to your specific needs and requests. What sets Galaxy aside from all others in the luxury transportation industry is our attention to detail in customizing our services to your special event. At Galaxy, it's all about you and your guests. Galaxy customers return time and time again because they know they can trust Galaxy to help deliver those lifetime memorable moments. Step aboard and let your Galaxy experience begin. Galaxy.
You know you already want a Toyota, but when you want more from your Toyota store, you want Smithtown Toyota, where every Toyota comes with Smithtown Toyota's Toyota for Life program, giving you lifetime New York State inspections, lifetime 10% discounts on all parts and service, 2 years of complimentary oil changes, 2 years of scheduled maintenance, and more, all at no cost to you, plus low clear-out deals on every Toyota in stock. Get more from your Toyota store. Hurry to Smithtown Toyota.
We are the Stylistics Review, and you're watching Madhousetv.com.
Okay, we're back on our talk with small businesses pertaining to Trump versus Clinton's views. So Trump said that tax reform he would put in place that would benefit only large corporations and not small businesses, where the income is taxed on the individual's income and not the corporate income. However, Clinton wants to make it easier to grow and start a small business and then escalate into a large business, unlocking access to the capital to ease the burden for community banks and credit unions. So, who wants to, using your papers again, which candidate do you agree with more on this? So, 1, 2, 3. Hillary, and Hillary. Okay, great. So now we're going to talk about the voter registration. How could you teens, I know teens we can't vote yet.
Right.
So how could you kind of influence other people that aren't registered to vote? Because their vote pretty much really counts.
It really does.
Kylie?
I feel like it kind of sucks for us because we are that generation that has to deal with whoever's in charge of next. And I feel like people need to start being lazy and just go, because this is our lives. Like, this is a serious matter. We are about to put someone in the Oval Office, the highest office in the United States.
Yeah.
So.
Jason?
I believe that in order to get older people who can vote to vote is simply just asking people regularly, are you registered to vote? Yes, no. Because we get to pick which electoral college votes for the president, and that really matters.
Andrew?
Yeah, I would agree, because people who are old enough to vote, they don't seem to be paying attention to what the news says. It would be like you are just sitting around and we're about to put whoever is going to be in the highest place in the world, who has absolutely no sense of what they're doing. So you're just sitting around doing absolutely nothing instead of giving your opinion.
Okay. So now moving forward to photo ID for voting. Trump believes that everybody has the right to vote, but should not allow outside people or illegal immigrants to vote that came here. And then Clinton believes that everybody has the right to vote. So photo ID voting, which should be stopped if they don't have ID or anyone has the right. Who do you agree with more on this? Starting with anybody. Jason.
As far as this goes, I would say I agree more so with Hillary, as it means that Trump might say an American is somebody who's born in America, but then there is the question, what is America? The real Americans were Native Americans. We all come from different places on Earth. Therefore, everyone is American in a sense.
Andrew?
Yes, I also agree that people who came to America back then should have a right to vote. Like we said, everyone has a right to vote. We had people to suffer greatly for us to have a right to vote. So I personally agree with Hillary.
Kylie?
I'm more with Hillary, but I can see where Trump is coming from. Where he says how, only Americans should be allowed to vote. And, America was built by immigrants. And Jason's kind of right, we're basically all Americans. But, I kind of felt like there's been a lot of immigration, like a lot of immigrants coming to America. And it's hard because we already suffer enough. We're receding back in our economy. We're not doing so great. We're not doing as good as others think, and it's really hard just for an old American who was born here to find a job. Like my dad, he's having a hard time finding a job, because of a lot of immigrants come over, and I'm not saying I have anything against them or anything, but they compete with us, so I can kind of see where he's coming from, but at some point, I do want all people to vote. Like, I don't know how to put it, but I'm coming from that best at heart, basically.
Okay. So using your papers one final time, who would you choose as a person that you agree with on the photo ID for voting? 1, 2, 3. Other, Hillary Clinton, and other. Great. Okay, so now we're going to do a little presidential history government trivia. So whoever raises their hand first will answer the question. How old do you have to be in order to be elected president? Jason?
35 years old.
Correct. How many terms can you serve and how long is each term? Andrew?
I believe it's 2.
Yes, 2 terms. And how long is each term?
4 years.
Correct. Who was the first president?
George Washington.
Great. How many branches of government are there?
3.
Yes. Who can name the branches of each government? Andrew?
Legislative, executive, and judicial.
Okay. What is the legal driving age for your permit in New York? Ooh, okay. Jason?
16.
16, yes. What what is listed in the First Amendment?
Freedom of speech, religion,
And press.
There we go.
And there's also the right to assemble and the right to petition.
Right.
How many stars are on the American flag? Yes.
50.
How many stripes are on the American flag? Oh, okay. Jason again.
13.
13. Okay, and lastly, if you could vote today, see, this is like we can't vote today, so this is our own little personal election poll. So if you could vote today, who would you vote for using your papers? Okay, you can vote for Hillary, Donald Trump, and if you don't agree with either, you can say other, and then afterward you will state your reason why you chose this person or the other person. 1, 2, 3, Hillary, other, and other. So, Andrew, can you explain why you chose Hillary, why you would elect Hillary for president?
Well, I believe the number one reason that I would vote for Hillary is because Hillary believes in women's freedom of right and what they think of, how they feel, and how they would express themselves. Donald Trump, on the other hand, does not believe that in any way. Of what we heard of that recording video, it shows that Donald Trump has absolute 100% no respect for women whatsoever. He thinks that he can control them in any way whatsoever. How he can just do whatever he wants with them, like he's some big celebrity. Hillary Clinton, on the other hand, believes that women has their freedom to decide for themselves.
Okay. Jason, can you explain why you chose other?
Throughout the whole election, I've been rooting for Bernie Sanders from the very moment he stepped in, for the main reason being that he, out of all of the candidates, were the most unbiased.
Yeah.
He is a Caucasian older man who also served as a civil rights activist. So I feel like as if Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump, they're both very biased and very crooked in their ways, and they don't own up to it.
So more neutral, yes. Kylie.
I agree with Jason. I was rooting for Bernie Sanders since the beginning. I will always continue to root for him, and I was kind of disappointed when he stepped out the election.
Okay.
But in terms of who do I really think should be I can't, like, there are certain terms, there's certain, like, facts that I like about both of them. I don't like the fact that Donald Trump thinks that he could say what he wants. That's never the right reason. Like, that's never okay. You know, and with Hillary, there's just certain things that I don't feel like she's trustworthy, you know. So, because I'm always gonna challenge my leader. Like, you're my leader, you know. I'm gonna challenge you. I want to make sure that you're doing everything right. I want to know if I'm gonna vote for you, you're gonna do it for all the right reasons and all. So, I'm definitely with Bernie Sanders, but certain things I like about both.
Okay. So this concludes our discussion on the teen political views on the presidential candidates. Thank you, Andrew, Jason, and Kylie for voicing your opinions. And if you would like to continue to follow me around on Colby's Corner, I have a Facebook at Colby Christina, an Instagram at Miss Colby Christina, and a Twitter at Colby Christina #1, and also a website, www.colbychristina.com. I hope you enjoyed Colby's Corner, and we'll see you at the top. Light and love.